These soaps definitely did not turn out how I had planned. I already poured my soaps and I did not mix my scents in. You see how this is already setting up? I'm just gonna work really quick. Secret to fixing a soap when you have totally messed it up is welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie from the Farmhouse Mom, and I upload every Tuesday and Friday. Today we are going to be making Christmas soap. We're going to be making 3 different scents, and we're going to be using 5 different colors. The first batch is going to be a peppermint and lingonberry scent. The second batch is a frosted fir with a little bit of cedar wood. And then the third batch is something from Brambleberry called Spellbound Woods, which is like a woodsy floral scent. And I added a little bit of Lang Lang, I think is how you say that. Okay, so if you're looking for the step-by-step process of how to get everything together, I have 4 or 5 other soap videos where we do everything very slowly, step by step. We are using 4 different oils. We're using a castor oil, olive oil, shea butter, and coconut oil. I have all of the oils mixed up in this container, and we're running at about 90 degrees. We're also doing something different than I've done in my previous videos. We usually just mix the frozen goat milk in ice cubes with the water, and I didn't have any frozen goat milk ready. So what I've done is I already have my lye mixed up over here by the open window. This recipe called for 452 grams of water or milk, and so I just split that in half. I just did 450 grams of water, and then we are going to put the 400 grams of milk directly in the oil. So this is something a lot different than what we've done before. Okay, that gives it a little bit more of a smoother consistency. And I also will have this recipe in the description below. You guys know that I'm working on getting my website ready. I did have a website, but then I'm completely reworking it, so it's taking a little bit longer than what I thought it would. But I will have this in the description. We've got 3 soap loaves over here. I just have them nice and handy because when it's time to pour, I'm gonna move you over so you can see me pour directly. Once I get the lye in, I'm probably gonna be moving a little quickly, so I'm gonna explain this before I do it. What I'm gonna do is also for my benefit too, what I'm gonna do is pour the lye in the oil mixture, and we're going to stick blend it just to where it's at trace. It's gonna be very thin. After we get this at trace, I've got 3 bowls, and we're gonna divide it evenly into my 3 batches because we're using 3 different fragrance oils. I also have these really beautiful micas that I have prepared, and so we're gonna need to put a little bit of the soap and mix them with these colors before we start our batches. We're gonna be using a coloring technique called drop swirl. We're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of sweet almond oil with some bentonite clay. So what this will do is make the soap have a nice white base, and also this bentonite clay will kind of anchor the scents. And so let's go ahead and get this to be a nice white color. And you know, just from my soap videos I've made previously, regular goat milk soap is just always gonna turn into just like a brown color. And so I don't mind that when I'm making soaps for myself, but when I go to sell them at our Christmas fair, you know, everybody likes the brightly colored soap. So let me mix this up. So this is a new recipe for me. If you've seen my other soap videos, you know that I generally work with lard and tallow, and this is all just vegetable oils. There's the goat milk in it, so it's not a vegan soap. There are some animal products in it. I made this about an hour ago, and I already was able to unmold it, and that's a pretty nice little bar. I'm kind of putting a little pressure on, and it's not really giving. So, okay, I think we're good. We are at 97 and 82, so we should be good. And I'm gonna go ahead and strain this just to make sure. I know there's no chunks of lye, but just to make sure. So we're gonna go ahead and pour our lye in. Okay. Just gonna give that a quick little stick blend. Put it in here and burp it. Okay, that's nice. That's a nice little thin trace. And I said I was gonna put it in 3 different containers. I'm gonna lay this down right here. But I think what I'm gonna wind up doing is just pouring it evenly, just by eye, and then we'll worry about the other stuff, so. We're ready to start mixing colors. Oh no, I did not mix my scents. That's the problem here. I already poured my soaps and I did not mix my scents in. So what we're gonna need to do is pour these in the 3 separate containers. Oh good, it's still nice and soupy. But we need to work fast. All right, and this is what happens when you're making soap. You make mistakes. We're gonna go with the peppermint here. We're gonna do the frosted fir, and we're going to do the spellbound woods. All right, so here's our peppermint. It looks a little sloppy, but that's okay because it's gonna come out and it's gonna be fine. So we're gonna go ahead and just do our drop swirl here. And we are going to swirl it around. This is probably, instead of a drop swirl, it's probably gonna be a little bit more of a 2-tone, which is fine. Let's go ahead and pour that in. All right, so we're going to just kind of make this a little bit of a different pattern. It's what we have to do. We have a mistake, so we're gonna work hard to fix it. And you could be doing this and you'd be like, oh my goodness, I messed it up so bad. But you might be surprised how it comes out. And you see how this is already setting up? I'm just gonna work really quick. I'll just push that down and we'll just kind of glop it down a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing on the other. We've got like our goldy brown here. We want this to be a woods color. Swish it and swirl it. Mix it up a little bit. He woke you up?
Yeah, I had to ride my newborn. I had to ride my bike to their house.
Okay, I'm trying to find a spot in the house where I can cut these soaps and you can get a nice view of them. We have our 3 soaps. I feel like they've dried pretty hard. I peeled it back a little bit and I think that's gonna be hard enough to cut. This is probably our ugliest one. So let's do this one first and see how it turns out. All right, it's coming out pretty nicely. All right, not bad. Let's see if we can pretty it up a little bit. Here's our first soap that we poured, and then the first one we cut was the last soap that we poured. So that was the one that was kind of the one that seized up the most. All right, I'm gonna get up on the step stool here. This will be easier for me. that's not a bad little soap, not at all. And now we have, this is the second soap that we poured. Again, it's not a bad little soap. Not necessarily what we were probably going for, but not a bad soap. When you're putting fragrance oils or essential oils, those can be tricky anyway. Most of the time, they make the soap darken just a little bit. And then when you forget to put them in like we did, it can be even trickier. Let's go ahead and clean these up really quick and see what we can get them to look like after they're trimmed. This is definitely not how I planned these soaps to turn out. However, I'm not super upset about it. They are still a nice soap. They smell great. And it's just more of a two-tone. I wanted more of kind of like a swirly look. But really the secret to fixing a soap when you have totally messed it up is just keep going. When I pulled them out, I definitely thought they were pretty ugly, but you know, just a little shaving, you know, don't we all need a little touch up every now and then? Just a little shaving can kind of transform them. These two I think are totally fine to put out for sale. I think what I'm going to do with these, just because they are a little bit smaller, is I'm gonna chop them up. I can either grate them with a cheese grater after they get a little bit harder, or you can just chop them up finely and make a confetti soap. So you can just make kind of like half a batch of a regular soap, just make like 500 grams, and chop these up, and then you can recycle the soap that way. Unless you mess up on the ingredients and the lye is going to burn you, it can always be saved, even if it looks totally ugly, even if it does not smell the way you want it to, you could reprocess it. It's not gonna go to waste, it's just soap. Thank you guys so much for being here with me, and I think next Tuesday, I'm gonna give you a little bit of goat content. It is November 1st. It's time to get the barn ready for the girls. We will have baby goats for sure in 6 weeks. So we've got 2 of our older ladies are due around December 15th. And so we definitely need to get everything ready for our little babies. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.